Hello everybody and welcome back to Pokemon White 2. So in the last part, we went through Route 20 and we entered the Floccesy Ranch. And we also caught a bunch of Pokemon along the way, which also includes our second official team member, Riolu. Now, as soon as you enter this area, here's where we encounter. Here's where we run into Hugh again. Yeah, who once again wants to fight us again. Now, I didn't exactly go over the Pokemon when we faced off against him the first time. It's because, the starter he has will essentially have the same moves as your starter would have if you picked them instead. Now, the same also applies to this fight too, where he still only has his starter Pokemon. It's just that this time they are now at level 8, and then Snivy will now have Vine Whip, Tepig will now have Ember, and Oshawott and of course Oshawott will have Water Gun. Now you may be asking, why exactly am I continuously using Leer with Batran here? Shouldn't I be training with my Riolu instead? Well, yes, I am doing that right now. Now, the main reason why I have Batran out right now is because I want to give off a bunch of Leers as possible, before Batran actually faints. So then when I sent out my Riolu, then that's when I can easily just utilize his Quick Attack move. Now you may be asking as well, but wait, doesn't the Riolu have counter? Why don't I just use that? Yeah, you are right. I could use counter. But then again, I have to rely on making sure the opponent attacks me first, and at the same time, now making sure that they can actually KO my Riolu. That they don't exactly KO my Riolu at the same time. So that's why I'm not really gonna focus on counter. Yeah, I'm mostly just gonna be focusing on my other team. The other Pokemon that I caught, utilize moves like Leer. Yeah, so then I can. So then I can have a much more easier time utilizing Riolu's only good move. That is until he gets more stronger. Then he'll be able to learn, and an actual fighting type move, which is never gonna be a hell of a lot more helpful than counter. Yeah, and you're definitely gonna see. And you are definitely gonna see what that is. And you're definitely gonna see what that is as soon as we actually get to that portion. Excuse me. But anyways, everyone. Now, I guess I should say this, since we are now in the Floccesy Ranch. Now, the music that plays in the Floccesy Ranch. Now, I will say, this piece of music really does fit the theme that this range is going with. Yeah, considering that we are in a considering that we are in a ranch. AKA something that you normally would see farmers. That we would see farmers actually own. So having this type of music that normally farmers will live in, yeah, I would definitely say it definitely fits the theme that they are going with this place. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, now as you can see, now here's where we meet the two owners for the ranch, and it is also where we see their Herdier. But however, the guy says that you didn't happen to see a Herdier around here. Yeah, he's not actually talking about the one that is currently behind him. He's talking about another one. Yeah, who just so happened to wander off. Now, this sets off Hugh in a huge way. It's because, now, even though the guy said he's only like a little worried, but Hugh says that the guy should be even more, he should be even more worried about his Herdier. So that's why he's gonna be helping finding out where that Herdier went. Now, yeah, this also goes into why exactly Hugh wanted to become a strong trainer. Wants to become a strong trainer. Which also dives into which also includes the involvement of with his sister. But anyways, everyone. Now, as we begin our search for the other Herdier. Now, as for what that woman said here. Yeah, now you don't have to bother going back to the Pokemon Center so you get yourself healed up again. Now you can easily just talk to her, so then she'll get your Pokemon healed up. Yeah, but anyways, everyone. Now, as we are just going to search for that, be searching for that Herdier. Now, I guess what I should go over as well. Now the one thing that we're not going to be able to get access to as of right now, but it's something that we are going to be getting into when we actually get to a certain portion of the game, and that actually being these things called a hidden grottos. Now, hidden grottos were not present within the prequels. Now, what these hidden grottos will contain is that it is called a grotto. It's because there's not really much space inside of that grotto, but what that grotto will contain. Now, they will contain several items. They will contain nothing and item, or sometimes a Pokemon inside. Now, for whatever is inside of that hidden grotto will get changed. Now they will get changed. Each and every day. So if we and also considering that there are a bunch of hidden grottos within like to white to. Meaning that if you want to keep track of what's different about these hidden grottos, yeah, you're definitely going to be tracking back these areas over and over again. Yeah. But anyways, everyone, now as for the Pokemon that you can find within those hidden grottos, now all of them will contain their hidden abilities. So yeah, that's probably going to be your only shot of actually being able to encounter them. Now, as for the ones that we can as for the Pokemon that you can find in the hidden grotto of the Floccesy Ranch. First there is Dunsparce who will have the ability Rattled. and the next is Meryl. The next is Meryl, who will have the ability Sap Sipper, which I was saying is definitely very handy for a Meryl to have. Yeah, considering that since Meryls are usually weak to grass type moves, and also with Sap Sipper, it's a will increase. I mean, its attack stat, meaning you could definitely get more power out of a Meryl. So yeah, I would say that is definitely very neat to actually have. Yeah. But anyways, everyone. Now, as for the third Pokemon that you can find in this hidden grotto is a Herdier, who who have the ability Scrappy. Now, Scrappy, I don't think it's really necessary for Herdier in this case, considering that it can already use moves like. Considering that it can already use a few Dark-type moves like Bite and Crunch, and also not to mention that it can use Shadow Ball as well. So yeah, Scrappy on a Herdier just doesn't really suit it that well. Well, I guess it can be good if you don't want to bother having a Dark or a Ghost move for your Herdier. I guess that can be useful for something. But at the same time, if you're gonna give Herdier the ability to utilize some dark and ghost moves, whereas where Herdier, yeah, so I would say, yeah, Herdier with Scrappy, not exactly all that worth it, is it? But I guess it's there if you want to have it, I suppose. But anyways, everyone. Now continuing on with what I was saying before about the Pokemon that I caught and utilized during my first time playing this game. Like I said, the majority of them came from the Pokemon that we can find in the Floccesy Ranch. Now there is one Pokemon that I forgot to mention, and it is one that I just forgot about until now. Now, another Pokemon that I also utilized during my first time playing this game, but I only really kept him just because I needed someone to fly, and that Pokemon actually being P-Dove. Now, just like with what I did with Psyduck, where as soon as I leveled up, now once I fully evolved the P-Dove, I didn't really utilize P-Dove / Pheasant ever again after that. I only really had him as I only really had that Pheasant as of way so I can actually fly to places. Yeah. Yeah, so the only Pokemon that I really got to utilize during my first time playing this game are Emboar, Ampharos, Lucario, and also a Pokemon that I also got to utilize within my prequel playthrough. Yeah, and for those of you who have seen my prequel playthrough, definitely know which one I am talking about. No, but anyways, everyone. Now here's where we get to our official first encounter with Mareep. And considering that I know for a fact that we did not see any Mareep, but during our prequel, and considering that we did not get to encounter any sort of Mareeps during our first time, during our prequel playthrough, yeah, it's now time for me to go over its sprite change. Yeah, like I did within the prequel playthrough, huh? But anyways, everyone, now as you saw, anyways, everyone, now as you saw with the Mareep, in Generation 5, it's definitely has also got a sprite change, sprite change. Although now it just looks like just a regular sheep who is just standing there for the most part. Yeah, the Mareep just stands there. Doesn't really have that many unique animations to it, really. Yeah, it's really just a sheep, but that's just standing there. So, yeah. Unlike with the previous generations, where the Mareep was more expressive with its animations. But as for this one, not so much. Yeah, but anyways. Anyway, alright everyone. Now, we've still got one more trainer here to face. Before we go see, where exactly is the Herdier been at? Oh my god, excuse me again, jeez. But anyway, so always everyone. Now continuing on with what I was saying about the Pokemon that you can find within the Dream radar. Now, yeah, continuing on from where I was going with that. Now she can also capture. Now she can also encounter Spiritomb with the ability Infiltrator. She can also find Riolu with Prankster. So essentially, if you want to utilize an ability, a boosting move first, before the others, you can't do that. Do that with that Riolu. Yeah. But anyways, now, and you can also get Munas with a Telepathy. And you can also get Sigilips with a tinted lens. Now here's the thing. Even though now our next Pokemon is actually a Rotom. Now, even though you can get Rotom within the Dream Radar game, but unlike the other Pokemon, the Rotom you encounter. Yeah, even now, they don't exactly get any sort of hidden abilities. So, yeah, I don't get why the developers even bother to include Rotom when you don't exactly get anything. You don't really get any sort of a special ability out of that. Yeah, honestly, I don't get why they chose to do that. Yeah. But anyways, now continuing on. But anyways, everyone. Now another set of Pokemon that you can get within the Dream Radar. But however, if you want to be able to get these free, you're gonna have to utilize these special extensions. And then you'll be able to get Beldum with a light metal. Slowpoke with a Regenerator, and also Hoot with a tinted lens. So yeah, it's definitely even though the Dream Radar doesn't exactly have that many Pokemon in it, but it is still a decent variety nonetheless. Now there are a few more Pokemon there, but I will go over them. But I'll probably go over them another time, considering that, I think I'm just about to reach the point where we aren't going to be encountering that Herdier. Yeah, that we aren't going to be encountering that that we aren't going to see where that other Herdier went. Yeah, and as you saw with that YARP, yeah, that definitely, that right there was, that right there was definitely the sound of that. Yeah, that definitely was the sound of the Herdier cry. Yeah, once again, Hugh is definitely going to be checking around the area while we go deeper into the grove and look. Yeah, we most certainly will. Yeah, we already know. Yeah, I went to go back and check on him, but whatever. But anyways, oh, you see that? there's Herdier. But who exactly is that, suspicious person with it? Well, I guess we'll just have to find out for the next part. And so to then, I'll see you guys next time.